Okay, we'll bring this meeting to order for the regular council meeting of April 22nd. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Go ahead, Catherine.
Resolved that the agenda for the April 22nd, 2025 meeting of County Council be approved as presented.
Mover and seconder, please. Latham and Hens. All in favor? Motion carries. Next, we have introductions, recognitions, memorials. Nothing there. Next is the adoption of the minutes from the April 8th meeting.
Resolved that the minutes of the meeting held on April 8th, 2025 be adopted.
Any errors or omissions? Mover and seconder then, please. Sloan and Noble. All in favor? Motion carries. Next, disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Seeing none, next we have presenting petitions, presentations, and delegations. And with us today is Jeff Lawrence from our tree commissioner. Welcome, Jeff. And okay, all right. Just a minute, Jeff. Go ahead, Catherine.
Resolved that items CW 25-1 to CW 25-4 from the Committee of the Whole meeting dated April 8th, 2025, and the recommendations therein be adopted.
There's nothing further on these. I need a mover and seconder, please. Jagger and Sloan. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Next, down to reports for information and media consideration. First is my report. Anything to question, add? Been a slightly busy month. Go ahead.
Resolved that the report titled Warden's Activity Report, March 2025, from Warden Jones, dated April 22nd, 2025, be received and filed.
Mover and seconder, please. Latham and Cookett. All in favor? Motion carries. Now we have the tree commissioner. You have a resolution first, or Jeff? Do the report first. Okay, Jeff, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Warden, and good morning to you and the rest of Elgin County Council. A little late in coming, but my third and fourth quarter reports have been combined into one report for your review and consideration. And it summarizes tree commissioning activity and weed inspection activity for those 6 months, that 6-month period. For the third quarter of 2024, a total of 15 harvest applications were received. This is consistent or exactly the same as the number received in 2023. For the fourth quarter, a total of 27 harvest applications were received. This is up by 12 from the same quarter of 2023. Speculating, but I assume that has something to do with the positive weather forecast, the positive winter that we had this past year. People wanted to get in and harvest their woodlots when their damage would be the least noticeable. 4 weed complaints were received in the third quarter of 2024. All of these weed complaints were addressed by the landowners, and no weed destruction orders were issued in the third quarter. No weed complaints were received in the fourth quarter of 2024, and no weed destruction orders were issued in the fourth quarter of 2024 either. Any questions on that reported?
Deputy Warden, go ahead.
Thank you, Warden. Jeff, what are the majority of the weed complaints about? Like what species?
It varies and depends on the time of year. Earlier in the year would have been quite a few Canada fleabane. But later in the year, it's getting more to the thistles and ragweeds.
Right.
A resolution.
Resolved that the report titled Tree Commissioner Weed Inspector Quarterly Report, July to September 2024, and Quarterly Report, October to December 2024, from the Tree Commissioner / Weed Inspector dated April 22nd, 2025, be received and filed.
Mover and seconder, please. Ketchabah and Widner. Are there questions? All in favor? Motion carries. Next down to Jeff's final report, inspection year end for 2024. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you again, Mr. Warden. Yes, before you is my report summarizing the tree commissioning and weed inspection activity for the entire year. A total of 81 applications to harvest were submitted and received over the course of the year. That's up 20 from 2023. And again, it might have been partially to that big increase in the fourth quarter when weather conditions were favorable. I thought it might be interesting this year for council to see, because this is the 20th year of this particular bylaw. It was adopted in 2005. So I thought I would put a graph together demonstrating the number of harvest applications received over that 20-year period. And just I know in the dip in the late 2000s seems to correspond with the recession in that same relative time period. And the kind of the spike in the 2015, 2016 timeframe seemed to correspond with what I recall being the kind of a ash salvage. A lot of landowners were taking or putting in harvest applications that were primarily ash trees and trying to get salvage whatever they could out of that wood before it just completely died and rotted. So over that period of over the entire year, we received 2 applications to receive to clear portions of woodlot in the county for a total of a little over 1.5 acres to be cleared. One application in West Elgin was approved for a little over 1 acre, and the second one was in Bam for just shy of 0.5 acre. Both were approved conditional upon adherence to the Elgin County no net loss policy. A total of 6 weed complaints were received over the 2024 season. This number is very consistent with what was received in 2023, and no weed destruction orders were issued in 2024. The annual Weed Inspectors Conference returned to in-person again last year in 2024, following several years of being held virtually. Very beneficial conference that I attend annually. So if there's any questions on my year-end report.
Thanks, Jeff. We'll do the resolution first.
Resolved that the report titled Tree Commissioner Weed Inspector Year-End Report 2024 from the Tree Commissioner Weed Inspector dated April 22nd, 2025 be received and filed.
Mover and seconder, please. Hens and Noble. Any questions? Seeing no questions, all in favor? Motion carries. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Moving down to 9.4, Manager of Economic Development, Tourism Strategic Initiatives, our website modernization project. Welcome, Carolyn.
Thank you very much, Mr. Warden. Through you to members of council, in September of 2023, council approved the full redevelopment of the county's website. And in October of 2024, the new county main site and the new library site were presented to council. And I'm here today to present the final part of this redevelopment project, which is our new tourism website. So this was launched on March 27th. And this website presents many upgrades from the previous website. And I think we're going to get that up on the screen in just a moment. And so with this new site, we really thought about the brand and what image we wanted to share with people who were interested in coming to visit Elgin County. And our goal was really for them to get a taste of that just by visiting our website. So if you take a look at the website, it uses soft colors like the creams and the browns, very earthy colors to represent a more rural and peaceful feel. And if we scroll down the website, you'll also notice that we're really highlighting the photography, the featured events on the homepage. And if we scroll down, we also have our 2 print publications, our visitor guide and our Savor Elgin guide available as digital copies. So we're really trying to promote digital copies of our publications. And you'll see you have the visitor guide and the taste guides, the print copies before you today as well. And then at the bottom, we also have the opportunity to feature different tourism operators across the county. So if we scroll back up to the top, this is organized by things to do and events. So if we click on things to do, You'll see there are many different categories. So for example, let's say you were coming to Elgin County and you wanted to do a little bit of agritourism. Under play, you could click on agritourism. And then if you scroll down, the first thing you'll see is just some highlighted options. That's across all things to do. But if you scroll down a little bit further, you'll notice that we a little bit further have all of our options available there. And I think the photos are just taking a moment to load there, but they should load shortly. There we go. And so again, if we click on one of the options, for example, we can go to Blue Groves Farms. So we're at the top really highlighting photos from the particular destination. And when we go down, there is a description of what you can do there with a map and contact information, links to the tourism operator's website and social media. And then at the bottom, there's also a photo gallery that you can scroll through to really see what the destination has to offer. And now we can go back to the top and take a look at our events. So under events, we also have some featured events. So we have the opportunity to highlight specific events in the county. And then if we scroll down, we have a listing of all of our events, and also just a little bit further up, we have a search option here as well. So let's say under event category, if we select that, you're taking a look for a culinary event. And then we can do it further by date. So in the month of October, and we'll select October 1st and the end date, the end of October. And then search. And you'll notice there's October Fest at Saxonia Hall in Elmer, so you can select that event. And I'll just take one moment to load. There we go. And again, we have the photography here. And if we scroll down, we have the information there, and also the opportunity to add a photo gallery if we have photos from the event. Thank you. And then the final thing is just a contact us form. And this has been actually quite busy with a lot of people reaching out to us since March 27th about what's available in the county. So either wanting to know if they can get copies of our guides, or if they can get an event added, or questions about what there is to do in Elgin County. So that is a quick overview of our new tourism website. And this project was supported by a $50,000 grant from the Rural Economic Development Program, and it marks the end of our website redevelopment project. And it will continue to evolve. We'll update, add new events, add new operators, and continue on improving and working on that content. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Carolyn. You have a resolution, please?
Resolved that the report titled Website Modernization Project, Elgin Tourism Website Launch from the Manager of Economic Development, Tourism and Strategic Initiatives dated April 22nd, 2025 be received and filed.
A mover and a seconder, please. Latham and Ketchabah. All in favor? Oh, wait, discussion first. So I guess I'll go first. Excellent job, Carolyn. I hear you're heavily involved in this project, and it looks great. Thank you. Councillor Jiguer.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. So yes, I want to echo the congratulations. Very smooth and slick and modern and accessible. So I'm curious then how we keep it up to date in terms of content. Is it a shared responsibility in terms of organizations contacting you to have their events on the website, or is the onus on the county to constantly be scanning? And the second part of that question is do we have a policy as far as what we would or would not support or publish or promote? Because I think there is something for the libraries as far as what events would be supported. And I'm wondering if that translates into the tourism website as well.
Thank you very much. So the first part of the question with respect to how events get posted. So we do have staff who are, as we're doing our social media posts and different things, if we see an event and it's relevant to visitors coming to our community, then that's something that we'll post. But we also have people emailing and contacting us, asking us if we can post their events. So it's a mix of both. With respect to a policy, we don't have a formal policy. That's certainly something we could look at, but generally the criteria are, is this, an event that geared towards visitors and similar to the events, the grant program, we have all of those kind of categories and qualifications. It would be similar to that we'd be looking at. If that answers your question.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. So, yeah, I think it would be worthwhile to develop, because I think it could be easily adopted and adapted from the existing policy that we have for libraries. And just that way it's just easier decision-making. It's clear and transparent. Everybody knows what will and will not be advertised and supported things.
Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Carolyn. Okay, down to council correspondence. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to pull out for further discussion? Obviously, I'd like to talk about the Warden's Golf Tournament. Any others other than receive and file? I guess I would like to speak to 10.5 as well. Bit of a thorn in my side. If not, we'll pull out 10.5 and 10.1. Anything else want to be pulled out? Not, we'll need mover and seconder to receive 2, 3, 4, and 6. Jagger moves, second Latham. So I'll go first with the Warden's Golf Tournament. Thanks to a lot of hard work from the girls. Wasn't easy this year finding a suitable venue at a suitable time and suitable price. So we're thanks for all the hard work from the girls. Looking forward to an entertaining day and right down by the lake in Southold Township. And 10.5 Howick Township with regarding the utility poles and accelerated high-speed internet project. Peter standing up. Yes, say Peter. Okay, all right. So this is obviously where I live is the very last mile, and my understanding of the whole project was poles will be used where there is no other option. And when you see poles lined up down even my road, and one farmer went so far as to threaten the utility to leave, or he'd park all his equipment on the road access so they could not put the poles in. They left. Further down the road, they put poles in at another farm on a stretch where there is no hydro poles. And but the other side of the road had no hydro poles either, and was along the lagoons for Port Stanley, but they chose the farmer's field instead. Plopped one pole right in the middle of his field access. So I have some serious issues about this, because when you see a straight line of field, you can plow it in as fast as you can put poles and hang lines. And I guess, Peter, if you want to comment on it, but it's a real frustration from what I'm seeing, where there's no common sense employed. It's just put as many people on the ground and put as much up as fast as you possibly can, because now we're running late. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I can provide some commentary in regards to the county's process, and we've been facilitating installations with this ISP specifically, and it's been a bit challenging. They're utilizing consultants from Texas from out eastern Canada. They have hired a local contractor, which is good. And that's been encouraging to deal with a local contractor. It's been our understanding, we have entered into a telecommunications and road use agreement, which Legal Services has assisted us in preparing. And it's the same format we utilize with all the ISPs that have been installing fiber on the county road system for the last decade almost. That agreement provides us with some flexibility and latitude to approve installation methods. We have facilitated dozens, I can't give you the exact number offhand, but maybe close to 50 permits from this ISP. The majority of them are direct bury, plowed in or directionally drilled. There are a number of pole lines that have been approved. Sorry, when I say pole lines, I mean a few poles, a handful of poles, either to extend an existing aerial facility or where they experience some sort of obstacle on the roadway, a culvert or deep ravine or something that it's not effective for them to directionally drill through. In all cases, we have not approved a new pole line going down the county roads. And I think it's within the local municipality's right and prerogative to instruct the contractor to install this infrastructure in a different fashion, because I tend to agree with you, especially on narrower right-of-ways. The county has an advantage on wider roads where we can place these poles on the back slopes of ditches, but on narrow roadways, it's going to be a hazard that's going to be there forever. As far as the county's concerned, they are installing their infrastructure on existing hydro poles, just not to the magnitude we had originally expected. And they've also divested a significant portion of this project in West Elgin to another ISP provider, because I believe they saw the schedule in front of them and they probably weren't going to get completed at the time they had originally thought.
Thank you, Peter. I know I'm probably just venting, but it's not very happy with what's happened. It's just it seems to be a rush job. But go ahead, Councillor Hens.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. This too is a problem in Dutton Dunwich. Our road superintendent has talked to the installers, and it's a speed and cost thing is what he was told. And where the poles go in, there appears to be no obstruction to drilling it in or plowing it in. We anticipated poles going across ravines and hard to get at areas, but that's not the case. They're going down level municipal roads. No reason that they couldn't be plowed in. And poles and large farm machinery are not a good mix. So we've got a lot of landowners up in arms, and rightly so. I see problems ahead if they continue in this way. Now, I don't know whether we've had any influence on changing what's happening in Dutton Dunwich, but we are trying anyway. Thank you, Mr. Warden.
Thank you, Councillor Hens. Anything, Councillor Jiguer, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. I know that SWIFT is not directly involved, but they certainly have had the ear of the ministry in terms of different projects, and they've been able to do really productive advocacy when there have been issues. This one has not come up yet. That's the first time that I hear that, but the annual general meeting for SWIFT is coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'd be happy to bring that forward to see if there's any advice or advocacy that can be made. And but I'm curious also to understand, what is the permitting process? Like how is Explore able to install poles without permits?
So my understanding is it comes through township office with a map and staff approve of what they've been proposed to do, but staff don't have time to drive up and down every township road to look to see what's going on. And that's, what I think, where it's slipped through the cracks is just, our staff are busy, very busy, and to drive up and down every road, just check to see if poles are approved or put in the ground. I think that's probably part of the problem. That's just, too much for, staff have to prioritize what they do, and unfortunately, you watch, plows go down one road and the next road poles go up, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. And it's just, how many crews can you get in and what do those crews do? If they're a pole crew, they're a pole crew and they go down a road. If they're a plow crew, they plow down the road. That's unfortunate.
So thank you for that. And just to clarify further, so the poles were approved by the township or no? Or
Yes.
the installation of cable was approved, but the method was not approved? I'm just trying to see what the.
I
the root
believe,
cause here.
I believe poles were identified, but when staff don't have time to go out and actually look at it and, like, when you look at 200 kilometers of road or whatever it's going down and, it's pretty hard for staff to go out and look at every specific site. And that's where what's happened is there's just not enough manpower to keep ahead of the game.
Thank you.
Okay, nothing further. We'll go back up and, the one on the Warden's Golf Tournament will, is a receive and file. So everything but 10.5, motion to receive and file. We already had the mover and seconder, so just need to vote. Oh, go ahead, Count.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Just to add to the further conversation, in my corner of the world, two methodologies. They are hanging wires on existing poles, of course, as well as installing some poles. And you're right, there doesn't seem to be any particular rhyme and reason. It was mainly a winter installation for the poles on road allowances. Some of the county road allowances are quite wide. I'm thinking of Eden Line. Murray Road, on the other hand, it's a fairly narrow road, but it's, the main complaint is there, it's right along the edge of somebody's field. They're a little upset about that. In some cases, they directionally drill in to avoid the pole and then carry on down the road to string it. Well, it's just conduit in the road right at the moment, so we'll see. Mainly it's the landowners are a little uptight. One of them was because of aesthetics. There's poles on one side and poles on the other. What's going on here? So, but some cases, Ontario Hydro has indicated that their existing poles aren't structurally sound enough to carry an additional wire. And that's what it is. So there's that. Here you go. We didn't separate it out, but it's up to you.
We probably should.
Yeah, I know. I'm keeping a hot mic. Mr. Warden, I realize it's a bit of a breach of protocol here because I didn't separate it out as 10.6 was the comment from Saugeen Shores regarding the opposition to expand strong mayor's powers. The ex-wardens of Elgin County met April 11th. There were concerns expressed at that particular luncheon from the ex-wardens, which resulted in the unanimous consent of those attended to draft a letter to Minister Flack expressing that opposition. I would expect that once that letter has been finally signed off by the ex-wardens, it will be sent. Hopefully, you would include it as an information item coming to a future council meeting for the edification of this body. Just mention it in passing.
Okay, I'm gonna call a vote on, all but 10.5. All in favor to receive? Motion carries. And down to item 10.5. Yeah, go ahead.
Resolved that Elgin County Council support the email from Howick Township to Premier and Ministers regarding the installation of new utility poles through the Accelerated High-Speed Internet Project, and that these concerns be brought forward at the 2025 SWIFT AGM.
Mover and a seconder for that motion. Hence and Jiguer. Any further comments? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Down to statements and inquiries by members. I do have a statement. I'm excited to announce that the county will be hosting a public meeting on May 6, 2025 at 7 p.m. in the Imperial Hall of the East Elgin Community Complex to gather feedback on a potential relocation of the Elmer Library to this location. This is a great opportunity for the community to share its thoughts and ideas on how to expand the space that could enhance library services and programming. Following the meeting, there will be a 3-week period of online engagement on our Engage Elgin website, allowing even more people to weigh in on this important decision. I encourage members of the public to provide your feedback through this tool. We look forward to hearing from library users and the community about the possibilities for the future of our library services. Your input is invaluable, and we hope to see you there. Thank you. Any other statements or inquiries? Seeing none, down to closed session.
Resolved that we do now proceed into closed meeting session in accordance with the Municipal Act to discuss the following matters under Municipal Act Section 239-2. Closed meeting item number 1, closed meeting minutes from the April 8th, 2025 meeting, and closed meeting item number 2, labor relations update, ONA interest arbitration. Under Section D, labor relations or employee negotiations.
And I know we have a few members of the public here. They're probably here for something coming up in later in the, so you will have to leave briefly and then we'll invite you back in when we're done. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Whitner and Latham, all in favor? Motion carries. Okay, welcome back. We have resolutions, please.
Resolved that we do now rise and report.
Mover and seconder, please. Hence and Whitner, all in favor? Motion carries.
Closed meeting item number 1, closed meeting minutes, April 8th, 2025. Resolved that the closed meeting minutes of the April 8th, 2025 County Council meeting be adopted.
Mover and seconder, please. Noble and Latham, all in favor? Motion carries.
Closed meeting item number 2, labor relations update, ONA interest arbitration award. Resolved that County Council receive and file the report titled Labor Relations Update, ONA Interest Arbitration Award from the Director of Human Resources or the Director of People and Culture, dated April 22nd, 2025.
Mover and seconder, please. Jiguer and Hence, all in favor? Motion carries. And moving down to consideration of bylaws. Go ahead.
Bylaw number 2518, debenture. A bylaw of the Corporation of the County of Elgin to authorize the borrowing upon amortizing debentures in the principal amount of $6 million towards the cost of the Terrace Lodge rebuild. Resolved that bylaw number 2518 be now read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Sloan, Councillor Whitner, all in favor? Motion carries.
Bylaw number 2519, confirmation. Being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Municipal Council of the Corporation of the County of Elgin at the April 22nd, 2025 meeting. Resolved that bylaw number 2519 be now read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Mover and seconder, please. So, a question or just moving? Counselor Sloan, Counselor Noble? All in favor? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
Resolved that we do now adjourn at 9:45 a.m. to meet again on May 13th, 2025 at 9:00 a.m.
Mover and seconder, please. Whitner and Sloan? All in favor? Carried. We'll take 5 minutes, then we'll come back into committee of the whole, please.